crisp, cold day in Portland, Oregon. As we head out to our transportation district job and see what's in store for us today. Boy, we've had a really incredibly long stretch of dry weather, which has really surprised me. We usually don't have this much dry weather for this long in the winter. Look at it. We did get record rain last month, but this month it's just dry. Yeah, we've had like 2 weeks, 2 weeks of dry weather here. It's amazing, isn't it? We've got the interesting discussion over there at that Facebook group. You know, I really don't use Facebook, but I can see why it's of value. Because you have that group started by D. Williams. There's 160 members and quite a few discussions going on there. It's really interesting. It's a real good place to communicate about the union. I'm impressed. And you know, there's some discussions going on there, like Bruce Hansen committed to the 20% pay reduction, and Chris Day even went one further and said the pay of the union president should be the equivalent of what you were getting as an operator. You know, you shouldn't be using the position of a union president as a stepping stone financially. And you know, that's great. I think that's great. I mean, personally, it's great if they could take the financial incentive out of running for union president. It's not about money, right? You're supposed to be about the members, you know. It's supposed to be about the membership, not about money. You're supposed to be doing it for altruistic reasons, not because you want to make a six-figure salary. And that is an excellent thing to start by the 20% pay reduction proposal by, who was it, Dan Martin? I'm not sure if I know who it is, but Bruce Hansen went right for it, and so did Chris Day. So that's two union president candidates. Now, what does John Hunt think of that? He'll never go for that, will he? I would bet you no way. And yeah, it's an interesting group formed over there. I'm very supportive of it. I look at it every day. I be careful when I post, so I see our friend Jeff Atkerson from Merlo has run into a little obstacle here. But I'm fully confident that he can overcome that little emotional response. I understand, believe me, I understand, Jeff. It's easy. But it's not something you should be posting on our Facebook page. Anyway, I don't know what to say about it. I'm not getting involved. I have peace right now. I'm not getting involved with that, okay? I don't need to. I made a comment about it, but I was very, very delicate in how I worded my comment. I maintain that people are people, and, you know, and they act like people. You can't expect perfection from anybody. Somebody that tells you what they think is less dangerous than somebody who smiles in your face, says all the right things to your face, and then turns around and cuts your throat. You know, the true politicians, you know, the John Hunts of the world, who never have an emotional gaffe in public, but all the while, you know that they have their agenda, and they're not telling you what it is. I'd rather have the person who's honest myself than the person who's a very experienced politician and able to manipulate their words so that it only comes out what you want to hear. and then turns around and just stabs you in the head. When it push comes to shove. Anyway, we're making good progress on Monday. Mondays are usually very light traffic days. Because people take Mondays off. We had a real traffic nightmare on Friday. I mean, it was horrendous. Although, after 3.5 hours, I was able to get the stupid 67 back on time. You know, you watch the looks of the people that are not getting picked up. They give you the strangest looks, you know. It's like you can tell they're uncomfortable and they're pissed and all of that. But the riders on these commute buses, they're pretty sophisticated riders. They're not talking about your 57 riders or your 52 riders or any of the riders on the high use runs in Portland. These riders out here, these commuter runs, very sophisticated riders, and they're never mean or nasty or sarcastic to you or make snide comments. That's one of the reasons why I like the suburban routes. You don't get any of the kind of customer problems that you do in the city. And with our working environment right now, which is very hostile, working under very hostile conditions. You know, I'm talking about media perceptions of us and management perceptions of us, which I will be bringing up at the TriMet board meeting. Because I do feel like we're getting the short end of the deal when it comes to our management, and I know that it's all on purpose, and I know what's coming down the pike. I said it on Friday. I know what's coming. This budget shortfall and all these problems, which we don't have any documentation of. It's just they come out with an announcement. You see how they are? They'll just announce it. Oh, by the way, everything is going to be short $17 million next fiscal year, but we don't have to show you any supporting documentation of that. The fact that we say it is good enough. And of course, the press regurgitates the exact thing, just like the ridership statistics that just came out. You know, which are all, look how wonderful the Max and the West are doing. It's wonderful, wonderful. It's just great. And the real winner for last month's ridership statistics was bus service, which was increased. And you're talking about a lot. When they say bus service increased 3.6%, that's a lot of people. That 3.6% represents 20 times the 10% increase on West. They brag about, well, West is up 10%. Well, that 10% is so small that it doesn't even count. But the 4% that the bus is up is a lot of people. You're talking about a lot of people. Okay, not 100 people. You're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the buses, and that's despite the crappy. Well, you know, I don't think the bus service is so bad out in the main area. You know, Portland and East. I think it's particularly crappy over here. It's not all the. I think a lot of it is just the age of the buses. They just can't go on forever. Everything starts falling apart, and I think pretty much that's what's happened here. Is these buses are just so old that you can't keep them running anymore. And I really do believe it's dereliction of duty and malfeasance to have allowed their bus service to deteriorate like it has. You know, they took all their stimulus money and used it for other things, and they tried to manipulate the public is what they tried to do. You do see what they tried to do. They tried to put this off on another bond measure. So they took all the stimulus money that they had and they threw it at other stupid projects like a bus wash that's always breaking down and stuff. Who knows? You know, they wasted it on all kinds of other things besides what they needed, which was buses. But they thought they had the ability to manipulate the public on this. They thought they were going to be able to convince the public to just give them another bond measure. which of course the fire department got their bond measure, but you know, the fire department is the fire department, much sexier. You know, everybody loves a fireman, but everybody hates a bus driver. So that was a miscalculation, although it was close. And I voted for the bond measure. I knew what they were up to, but I voted for myself. I saw it as a win for me. So I voted yes on the bond measure. Even though a lot of the people that's probably a lot of people that I voted that vote. There were even operators that voted no on. You know, there were a lot of operators that voted no on the bond measure. And boy, it just surprises the hell out of me that they do that. You know that? I just find it bizarre because they're voting against themselves. But these same people are people that vote, you know, Republican and stuff. So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, if you're voting on something, it should at least be your self-preservation at the very least. You know, you vote for your self-interest. You don't vote against your own best interest. But a lot of operators voted no, and that's like, what? How do you vote no against yourself, man? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I just find that beyond bizarre. But I mean, TriMet tried to manipulate that little deal by saying they needed the bond. They could have used other money to do this, but their little gamble didn't pay off, and now they have this decrepit bus service here when they could have had it fixed a long time ago. And so I personally see that as management malfeasance and a dereliction of duty, because they put all the money into other things. And of course we already know about the never-ending expansion of the TriMet services, which is max, 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 and more max. And that never-ending, they're never going to stop expanding that. And to pay for that, of course, all these people out here on the west side are going to get hacked to pieces. That's the plan. That was the plan long before the fake recession started, because they had been trimming this bus service long before they started pleading, oh, we got no money. They were already trimming down bus service, and that just gave them a more perfect excuse. And my guess is that runs like the 67 will be cut on completely on Saturday. Runs like the 58 will be cut completely on the week, because 67 is already gone on Sunday. They'll cut those runs completely on the weekends, and end the 67 even earlier than it already ends, and end the 58. They might even go to just commute service out here, because McFarland was very clear about the direction he's going, and they're talking about commute service only. It's commute, all about the commute now. It's not about the being able to get to places at any time. It's all about having the commuters go into Portland, basically. It's all about getting people to Portland.